I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm the founder of Dawn, an organisation that is an advocate sort of body to promote culturally diverse leadership across our mainstream institutions. So we aim to connect emerging leaders of culturally diverse background with senior executives, leaders across mainstream institutions through our online community, our workshops, and in collaboration with corporate across Australia, government as well as private sector. And Nahji and I have been friends for many years now. I think I met Nahji about in 2008, I think. I was a journalist then at the ABC. I was looking for a great story, a good story of a startup, and Nahji just started her Queen of Rolls, the rice pepper rolls business then, and she was doing it in the back of her house. I remember that, and rolling lots of rice pepper rolls, and then I got, I think oh, that's better because I thought it was, sorry, and we talked about both of our experiences as Vietnamese refugees. We were both refugees from Vietnam, and Nahji came here when she was 9. I'll let you tell that story, Nahji. But I'll remind people again that the hashtag for tonight is HQ Inspiration Series. So please use this hashtag to communicate with social media. But please also turn your phone silent, not off, because you can't communicate if it's off, but turn it on silent. That'd be great. And so before we launch into asking Nga, that's how I call her, Nga, about her entrepreneurial business, I just thought I'll start with you talking about you are a refugee from Laos and with Vietnamese heritage, is that right, Nga? Yeah. Can you talk about, share that journey?
Yeah, so I arrived in Australia in 1978, March the 19th. So I welcome you all to look at your phones whilst I'm speaking, to look up and Google images. Obviously keep it on quiet, but because I don't have any slide presentations, it is probably more interesting if you've got some visuals to refer to, or write notes and then, have a look later on, because I trust that not everyone knows Misschu in this room. It's a really famous brand. I did something quite innovative and amazing, but it doesn't mean that everyone in this room knows me. So I'm going to have this talk as if none of you know me at all. And I welcome hecklers and questions along the way. First of all, thank you very, very much, Jack, Brad, for hosting this event and for this venue. Like, it's very, very generous of you, so that's not to be taken for granted. So I came as a refugee in 1978, born in Laos. My grandparents are Vietnamese. My grandmother left Laos, left Vietnam, Hanoi, because her farm was plagued by locusts in the 40s. And so there was an influx of Vietnamese migrants moving into Laos. She walked on foot to get to Laos and started up a new life and a new family. She was one of the first women to bring Vietnamese food into the country. She met the King of Laos, she cooked for him, and she was quite industrious, very entrepreneurial, hence where I get it from. It was all very osmosis, I guess. When you grow up around parents who work hard and who are entrepreneurial, it's hard not to be that person. So when I arrived, Australia was a very bleak place. We stayed in a hostel in East Hills as refugees, and we did the mandatory 6 months. After that, you get given work. So for us, we went to Cessnock, which is 3 hours out of Sydney North, near Newcastle. And we were given some work. So back then, you worked as a refugee for next to nothing. And I support that, when you're a refugee, you're willing to work for next to nothing, and you build your lives up for next to nothing. The difference these days is refugees don't have that opportunity, and business owners don't have the opportunity either to pay refugees a small income to give them work. So it's like, how do we build the future, guys? You know, like, we built this Snowy Mountain regime on the backs of cheap labour and everything else, but we can't build the future because the cost of labour is the most expensive in the world right now. That's me. We worked for $1 an hour back then, but here we are. We're very successful these days. So the moral of the story is you've got to start somewhere.
And so how do you think that has shaped you or influenced your career choices, being a refugee and coming here?
Yeah, so when we first arrived, there was no Vietnamese food in the country. No one even knew what coriander was or chili, and we were in the country. And I remember my mother going down this aisle at Coles, and we were given our first Salvation Army check, which was $500 for the month, or maybe a lot less. But anyway, it was a very generous time in Australia, you know, where people came and gave us clothes and whatnot. But I remember my mother coming home and going, oh my God, you know, in this country they eat frozen chickens. And because we're used to having like organic chickens, you know, like running around in the backyard, and you catch them and you slit their throat, you make blood tofu, which is what we did because we worked on a chicken farm in Cessnock. We lived on the Rigby's house and their farm, and they supplied chicken to Steggles, so they were big time. There were 3 massive huts that we looked after, and as a little girl at the age of 9, I used to pick out all the dead chickens and feed it to the pigs before I went to school. So, you know, we got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was already like doing labour before I went to school in grade 5, and all the kids at school were like, you know, so being whatever they were, 9-year-olds, and I was already like a half adult. Already knew how to cook for the family at the age of 9. And all these Australian kids had the luxury of life, just being what a kid should be doing, is play and learn, right? I learned my ABCs at the age of 9. How did it inform me? My auntie said, so we're going to be okay in this country. All you've got to do is give them Vietnamese food. All you've got to do in this country. So I lived my life. As a teenager, as an Australian, I rebelled as one does. I assimilated and I became a rebellious passe punk because I had 2 cultures within me, and that's what you do, you know, when you're 14. Who am I? I've got 2 cultures. Am I Vietnamese? Am I Australian? And you were really ashamed of being Vietnamese at the time because you were one of the first in the country. It was really racist. We moved to Melbourne. I went to discos. I was on the dance floor the whole time trying to work out all my identity. And so that's what happens to me, you know, like the assimilation process made me go nuts. And then, so, of course I wanted to be everything else but a restaurateur. I didn't want to grow up being a Vietnamese woman selling fur, because for me that meant like I hadn't done anything with my life. Like, how obvious is it? Like, what, you go and sell food to Westerners? Like, you know, really you should aim a bit higher, become a doctor, a lawyer, or a filmmaker. In my case, I wanted to be an actor. So I failed at being an actor, a filmmaker, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, you wanted to be a journalist. What did you do to want to be a journalist?
Well, I wanted to tell my story. You know, I'd been through 3.5 years of refugee camps, and I saw a lot. And I saw how Australia did not represent Vietnamese people in this country with respect, and I wanted to correct that. And that's why I wanted to be a filmmaker. That's the reason why I wanted to be an actor. It was the reason why I wanted to be a journalist. So I could make a difference. I could say, look, you know, we don't all speak with Asian accents, because eventually we do have Australian accents, you know, guys. Stop perpetuating this idea of Asian people working in factories and having Asian restaurants. But then what happens? I became a restaurateur. Anyway, but you know, but I did a lot of storytelling through Misschu.
Because when I met you, you actually you love charcoal, and that's the charcoal painting and the storytelling. How long were you kind of, dabbling in journalism and storytelling before you kind of shifted to, setting up this the chain of?
Well, I mean, it's like when you ask an artist, how long did it take you to draw that picture or that piece of art? And really, the answer is all my life. So, how long have I been a journalist for? Since life disrupted me. So, since I left my country as a refugee, when I escaped on a canoe on the Mekong River and got caught, went to jail for 3 months, and then walked through the jungles of Thailand to get to a refugee camp, and then enlisted as a refugee with fingerprints and everything at the age of 5, and then arriving at the age of 9. So I think when you realise that that is not the norm, you become a journalist. You want to say to the world, when you're exposed to, when you come to Australia and you go, hang on, what I went through was not normal. That is when you want to know that is actually the period of which you become a journalist, because you want to say to the mainstream, hey, do you know what I've gone through? Like, don't take your life so fucking for granted. You're so lucky here. I've gone through way much shit than you, so stop complaining. But I mean, and also I also learned that everything is held in perspective, and someone's turmoil is exactly the same as someone else's, even if it's heightened. So I also learned that as an adult,
You also dabbled in politics, you said. You wanted to become a politician.
Yeah, because I wanted to make a difference, because I'd seen the world, I've been exposed to so much more than the average person had been through. So I thought, and also because I could speak better than most Vietnamese women that I had met, and I was quite vocal and I wasn't afraid to speak up. So I thought, you have a responsibility. If you have a talent for speaking or to be an artist, or if you know that you're a little bit different, then I think you have a little bit of responsibility in life to be able to just you need to share that information.
Where do you think, being, Asian, especially an Asian woman, there's this perception that, you're supposed to be a bit more quieter and a bit more submissive. Where do you think that fire you came from? That to be able to kind of say the F word.
A lot, to become famous for it. Where does it come from? It comes from being hated as an Asian in this country. It came from kids, saying, go back home, Ching Chong, and that's humiliating. So you grow up saying, you grow up with a thick skin, and you start learning how to say fuck off without an Asian accent. So you start learning things like your sarcastic insinuations are far too obnoxious to be treated hypothetically by my superior mind.
Oh my God!
At the age of 10. And then the Australian looks at you and goes, okay, I'm just going to run home now, and so that's how you beat racism down. I beat racism down through many other guises too, like through my brand, which was Misschu. I created this slogan called "You Ling, Bling," and it was really controversial, and a lot of people accused me of being a casual racist, and especially Asians actually, not so much Australians who got the sense of humour. And it was especially Asians who had just come to Australia, because they didn't get the nuance that was the Australian sense of humour. And they also didn't understand that I had actually grown most of my life in Australia. I was more Australian than most people. I'm 47, for fuck's sake. I'm older than you. I wasn't born here, but you weren't even born when I arrived in Australia. So therefore, that already makes me more Australian than you. And I know the politics of this country, and I know the nuances and the humour of this country. I can write an essay on it. Well, actually, I did. So I got taken to court. So there was a lobby group, and it was a group of Asian students He said, you've got to take down the lingo, it's so offensive. And I said, no, you've really just got to take it into context, you know. I'm Vietnamese, it's advertised in context. It says I'm a Vietnamese food brand, and it also actually, if you read my story on my website, it says that I arrived, and I experienced racism since 1978, and the only reason why I did ling bling was to actually bring down racism.
It's about confronting it, isn't it?
Owning it. So I took it, the Australian Bureau of Advertising in Canberra said, you need to bring it down. And I said, no, I'm not, I'm fighting it. I went to court, I wrote this essay, and I said, you know, there's Conda Fruitera, there's like Harley Mole, and there's all these groups, walks out of work. We did it, we've been doing it for a long time. You know, it's all within context. So please, just everyone calm down, relax, chill out. It's called assimilating. You know, you come to Australia, you're meant to have a sense of humour, and I did it, and I did it in spades. So come on. So I won, and I was allowed to keep Ling Weebling.
So before you get to Ling Weebling, so how did you then went from those career into then setting up your first?
So are you lost now? Like about going from one thing to the next? So I leave high school, I do year 12. I'm one of those classic Vietnamese refugees who fails year 12 the first time round because I wasn't that bright. I was more gregarious than I was academic because I was wanting to fit in. I was more interested in fitting in than I was in gaining a university entry. For me, it was more important. I just want to be loved. I want to be accepted. So I failed my year 12, and then I was like, shit, that's so humiliating. So I keep failing, right? So I move schools, and I do my year 12 again, and I pass, and I get into Melbourne Uni, and I'm studying environmental science. And everyone was saying, you know, this is really big, it's going to be the future, environmental science is what you should be studying. But in actual fact, I was more interested in studying commerce and arts, and actually even law, only because I thought, as a status symbol, it was more exciting to study law and chemistry. But my Anderson score was not high enough. So I deferred from uni and started applying for work in fashion, and I lied to my parents for 2 years and said, yeah, I'm still going to Melbourne Uni. Whereas in fact I was working in fashion, and I met a lot of interesting characters. And then years and years later I started catering Vietnamese food because fashion didn't pay that well. It was fun, but it just didn't pay the rent. I lived in South Yarra, a really exciting neighbourhood, suburb, kind of, you know, eastern suburbs. So again, that whole rebellious thing, like I don't want to live in the west where my parents lived, in Footscray. No, I want to fit in, so I live in South Yarra. Really common story with Asian migrants. Is it? I don't know.
Did you fit in?
Oh yeah, totally, yeah. I fitted in very, very well, very well. I met, you know, like I worked for, I was dancing with everyone, like Maurizio Tazzini, famous restaurateur, Bettina Liano. I was working and designing with the best, and we were each other's peers. So whilst I was catering, so this is the turning point. A Jewish family said, so Nahji, you're very, very talented with food. We would like for you to shut down your catering business, and it was called Walk-Off at the time. I was working 3 days a week, it was enough to pay the rent and have a really good lifestyle. Didn't take myself seriously at all. I was 25, and this Jewish family, who were the Smorgans, they sell steel to the world. They said, look, so we have a proposition for you. There's a thing called Pret a Manger in London. And I said, I've never been overseas. So they sell sandwiches, and it's all pre-packaged, and it's fast food. So we wanted to replicate that model in Melbourne. And I said, oh, okay. So it's not going to work. And why? Because there's this thing called Schwab's in Melbourne, and they do sandwiches really well. It's designer sandwiches, very gourmet, but they don't do square bread. And I said, so all I'm seeing in your presentation here is a square bread cut in half, and then you get this triangle, and it's pre-packed, and it's on shelves, and there's all these sandwiches on shelves in fridges, and that's Pret a Manger. We all know Pret a Manger. boulanger, right? So this is 1996, when the internet just broke out. No, this is 1997, sorry, a year after the internet broke out, because I had a Hotmail email address. And so anyway, they're like, so I said, no, it's not going to work. And if you're serious about this, this is what you do. You take Schwab's head on, you design a piece of packaging that is the cob red, and when you cut that in half, you get a D shape. And then I'll design all the sandwiches that are amazing, and we'll put them into this D-shaped sandwich, and it's all on the shelves, And that was it. So James, my business partner, was like, oh my God, that's genius. That's the business model. I'm like, totally. So you don't line up at Schwab's anymore to design your own sandwich. You come to Bite, which was our brand, and all these amazing sandwiches are already on the shelf, ready to go. Like, so we positioned ourselves right next to McDonald's in the city, and our turnover was something like $4,000 for the first store at lunchtime. $4,000 per 1.5 hours. So that was pretty big time back then. And what we did differently then was we were Australia's first online business selling sandwiches for $10, asking for people to give us to pay online. And no one did. And so all my friends were like, oh my God, you are such a scammer. Like, you're selling sandwiches online for $10 and giving away an organic juice to woo them in. And I'm like, come on, it's so cheap. All you've got to do is go online, order it. I'll deliver it on my motorised bike. I was also the world's first motorised delivery system. So I asked a friend of mine to turn my bicycle into something that would go faster. So you put a Victor mowing machine on the back of my bike and a petrol tank. So I would pour petrol into it and ride up Collins Street, right? And there was smoke coming out of my bicycle. And I said to my staff, there's the bag, there's the first order, it's 101 Collins Street, 31st floor. And he's like, I'm not riding that bike. It's embarrassing. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'm riding up Collins Street, sweating, getting into the lift. I look like a peasant from Vietnam, delivering a sandwich. But I said to my friends, it's the future, guys. It's absolutely the future. So 3 years later, we opened 4 stores. It didn't really take off like we had imagined that it should have. So James, being the massive entrepreneur that he is, and me also, he taught me a lot about being an entrepreneur. You don't get out of bed for one store, Nahji. So I said to him, look, I want 10% equity, and he said, no, it's never about equity, and I went, all right, I'm leaving. So I ended up applying for a job in a bank. I had no computer skills whatsoever, but I started from scratch. I worked in a call centre selling home loans. Then 4 years later, I'm a credit analyst, and they fly me to Sydney in 2004, at the end of 2004, and they said, so you're going to be in the construction loans department. It's really high turnover, it's very stressful, but you're just the type of person for it. So in my 4th year at the bank, I was in Sydney on Market Street, and I said to myself, there's no Vietnamese food in the city, there's no fresh food here. So that's when my mind started ticking over. And I went, all right, maybe it's time to get back on the street, be an entrepreneur, instead of earning this crappy salary that I was earning, and having just analysing everyone's income, which was exponentially much, much larger than mine. And also, my calling, there was this thing in me that said, what's the sort of legacy are you going to leave behind? That was me. There was something about me that said, you need to leave the legacy behind. So I left the bank and started Misschu from home in Balmain in a 47 square metre house. My table that I used to produce rice paper rolls from was less than 1 square metre squared. And my first client, I Googled Vietnamese rice paper rolls, Sydney caterer. Opera House came up, and I said, yep, they've got rice paper rolls on the menu. I made my sample, made a meeting with 3 executive chefs. So all I did was find 3 massive caterers in Sydney, the Opera House, Belinda Franks and Bailey Catering. Within 6 months, I had enough turnover to sustain my own income. It was $90,000 turnover in the first 6 months. And then come New Year's Eve, I had 20,000 rice paper rolls to make overnight at $1.80 each. So, what's that, $36,000? It took us a whole week, of course, to make it. But that's pretty much how I launched myself. So, and then the next year, I opened up my first retail store in Darlinghurst, and it kind of like just caught fire.
So I'm just opening a bottle of water for you to have a drink.
So did you have a team? Like, did you do it all on your own, or did you have a team that kind of helped you? And
no, it was all organic. I built my team around me. You know, like to do 20,000 rolls, I put up this poster haphazardly at TAFE down here, hospitality school in Ultimate, and I just said casual work going, and all these students were in my kitchen working. And marketing wise, when I first opened in Darlinghurst, I went there because I moved to Paddington and I needed to be close to work. So I found a site that was just so disgusting, no one had even rented it, but I'm from Melbourne, so I had no idea how bad this site was. I just thought, it's got a view of the city, it's pretty cool. Didn't even check the plumbing, had no idea about how to sign a contract, so I've made all these mistakes. So this is where you're meant to ask, you know, what mistakes you're meant to, did you make? But you're going to learn from everything that I did that you're not supposed to do in business. So when you sign a contract, look at it and make sure you have 2 sets of lawyers' eyes over it. And if you're going to go in hospitality, check the plumbing and the gas works and all those things. Make sure that all those really basic things work. So you're nodding. Am I boring you? Like, if I'm boring you, tell me, like, move on type of thing.
So the plumbing, so basically, so you did it all on your own. You
did it all on my own, yeah.
So wasn't there a moment when you felt like you needed to find somebody to actually go with you along this journey?
Oh yeah, of course. So I suppose I should just clarify, when I'm opened in Darlinghurst.
That was your first store,
yeah. So why was it so successful? One, I knew that it was going to be instantly successful because one, you need to eat rice paper rolls and Vietnamese food. 2, I knew that in the eastern suburbs there was no Vietnamese food at all. There was no competition. And why is it that all Vietnamese people have to live in Cabramatta and Marrickville? I'm like, I live in Paddington, I need to eat Vietnamese food. Well, no one's doing it, so make your own food and then sell it. 3, what if they don't like you? Is there a reason why Vietnamese people don't live in Paddington and the East and Potts Point? Maybe they're racist. And I go, yeah, they are racist. And let's do something about it. So I went and I was like, okay, so how do you shock people and how do you get instantly recognised, because I had no money to do any marketing. So I thought, okay, use your refugee visa, that's your branding, and put your menu on the back of it, put a chopstick on it, and then just put it into everyone's letterbox in your neighbourhood. Within 1 kilometre of your store, which is Bourke Street, Darlinghurst, just do that and then shock them. Anyway, most people weren't shocked, they just thought it was a fantastic piece of graphic. So they thought, who's your graphic designer? I'm like, no, that's my refugee visa stand. Oh, really? Oh, that's really exotic. But anyway, the reason why we came is because of the chopstick, and bravo, amazing marketing, you know, we came because of the chopstick. I'm like, aren't you shocked that I'm a refugee in your neighbourhood? Like, I'm moving in, I'm like invading you? And they were like, yeah, a little bit, but we're here for the food. We're not here for your politics. And so throughout my brand as Misschu, I kept doing these political things, like, you know, people were lining up the first 6 months, it was massive, everyone's talking about it, and I'm like, next! You know, $6.50, is that all you're spending? Next! And it was theatre, and it was lively, and everyone's like, you're fierce. I'm like, it's street food, get it? You know, I'm not fierce. It's like I don't have a computer yet. This is like all cash in this basket. And I knew. I'm like, you have no idea what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to turn over $4,000 within 2 hours, for fuck's sake. Move it on. Anyway, I ended up getting, so to move the crowd quickly, I started an internet machine, which was order online, and then I started my app, which was, you know, the world's first Vietnamese food app, 2009. And then I started delivering to offices on electric bikes, the world's first electric bike delivery system. So, you know, these days there's like Deliveroo, Uberoo, Fedora. I'm going to start Tuberoo soon. So eventually, this is 2009. Years and years later, but not that many years later, I turned over $25 million a year. I opened into London in 2000.
So well, from that one shop, yeah. How did you then start to then, you know, obviously bring investors on board to
no
expand
investors.
it? To expand it?
No, there were no investors. So
how did you open the second store? How did you?
Yeah, organic. Because everyone was eating Misschu, mostly, because back then it was either pizza or Italian, and everyone's like, oh my god, there's this electric bike thing, right? I'm like, isn't it amazing? It is. Like, and so everyone started copying it, and I said to my staff, it's eventual that people will start replicating this model that we have, and then it's going to be really, really hard to sustain the growth and whatnot, because the competition is going to be quite fierce. So the Opera House took me on as a brand, and you know, in order to supply the Opera House, I needed to create a bigger engine, which was a commercial kitchen. So I invested a lot of money into building a new commercial kitchen in order to supply them, and then 1 year later, when I say the Opera House, I mean the operators of the Opera House, which is Opera Kitchen, who pay rent to the Opera House, the entity. So Opera Kitchen is separate to Opera Bar. There's two entities down there, two businesses. Opera Kitchen got me in as a brand, and then I started supplying them my food at cost, and they were supposed to also give me $100,000 per year for my brand. So when 1 year later they decided to cut my contract without notice, I said, you're in breach. You can't do this to me. My income from you is like meant to be just over $1 million per year, but I have fixed overhead costs. So I started suing them, they started counter-suing me, and then before you know it, my business started having problems. So I thought the only way to survive now is to open more stores so you can actually afford to pay the rent at the commercial kitchen. Hence why I started opening stores really quickly.
Was that, do you think, looking back, the right decision? To open all the stores quickly?
Yes, you had to. It's survival. Yeah, you have to move fast.
And you didn't at that stage even consider bringing anybody on board to actually...
So at that stage, I brought on a Melbourne partner, and he opened up a Melbourne store straight after the Opera House, and then he opened up another one after that, the year after. So I went in, you know, I did a joint venture with a Melbourne partner, but yeah, going into London was a big mistake. It was an ego of mine. I wanted the brand to be international, and I lost a lot of money. You know, I was generous. I gave my store manager 60% equity, made him general manager, and then my whole world went down. The spiral, the domino effect was like, you know, massive, and it happened quite fast. So, and also, I mean, interestingly, when I had opened in London in 2012, I saw these bikes, not that many, but a few bikes, and it had Deliveroo on it with a kangaroo. It's like, who is this? Some Australian company doing food deliveries. So they came to see me. I'd already done my TEDx talk that year in London about, you know, how I branded myself as a refugee and did Misschu. And anyway, so Deliveroo came to see me and said, so you've copied our model. You've got these electric bikes everywhere, like delivering around Whitechapel. And I said, yeah, and I've been doing it since 1988 as Byte, when I was a motorised bike with petrol. Like, maybe you copied me. And anyway, they've got the last laugh.
So you talk about, you know, the expansion to London was probably you think that the straw that broke the camel's back for you? Or was it more towards what happened with
the Opera House? Really was the start of the problems, and then of course the employment. So you say, why didn't you ask for help? I did. I started building an amazing ship that I was going to eventually sell. So I started implementing systems, employing upper end management, general managers, putting in lawyers to structure my company properly. But I ran out of time. And little did I know also that the general manager I had employed in Sydney was a con artist whose main purpose was to sink the company because he saw how amazing it was, how much money it was generating. So he sold, and he's a serial con artist. So he intentionally sunk the business whilst I was taking a break, my first long break overseas of 6 weeks, and I trusted him solely and entirely. And so he basically kept talking to me about how he wanted to be the CEO, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, but there's only one CEO in this company, and that's me, until I'm ready to take the next step. Someone who's really experienced, someone who's got, franchising experience, all that sort of stuff, but we're not quite there yet. And but anyway, his agenda was that he wanted to sink the company and then buy it back at a fire sale price.
Was that is that something that is known in the public that he wanted?
No, you can't. I mean, I can say this now because it's been 2 years. I was suing him for I was taking him to court on a criminal matter, so I had to keep it quiet.
And has that been all resolved? Or?
No. So no, because I mean, King's Cross Police also gave up and said you're going to have to pursue it on a civil matter because this guy is going to sue us. He's smart. He's a con artist.
So can we say that here? Is it something?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to name him.
Yeah.
And it's too late. I mean, what's he going to do? Sue me? My whole life in the last few years has been like, you sue me, I'll sue you back. I mean, I just want to get back to selling good food. And why am I telling you all this? Why not? I'm trying to make you learn from my mistakes. I've got nothing to hide, I've got nothing to hide at all. It's an interesting story.
You said it was a painful...
It's a life's ruthless. Business is ruthless. You're going to get scammed, guys. You're going to get conned. Everyone's out for each other. Be careful. When you're in business, just be careful. No one's altruistic.
Oh, I don't know. I hope there's some altruism in our society.
I'm not altruistic. Why do I give? I give because it makes me feel good. That's a selfish act.
Have you lost in this experience a kind of...
You blame yourself. No. Yeah, so I say this and this happened. The ultimate thing is I fucked up. I made mistakes. That's the ultimate thing. Everything that happens is your own making. So, hey, that's why I get back up again. Let's go, let's do it again. Fall over, oh well, at least I gave it a go.
Does it make you have less trust in forming relationships?
Less trust, less generous. Am I more ruthless? Yes. Am I less trusting? Absolutely. Am I less generous? Absolutely. Trying to get something out of me these days? Nah, it's very, very difficult.
But in a business world, I thought, we hear about collaborations, we hear about working together, we hear about finding the right people, the right to fit in that organisation. Don't you think that we need to have some of that trust and some of that collaborative spirit?
It's very important to be community-minded. And of course, that's why I do business, and that's why I'm involved in the community. But I mean, there's a certain amount of self-gain out of that too. I'm promoting myself, my brand. I need friends. I'm a social animal. My entire family are in Melbourne. So I mean it when I say I don't do it because I'm altruistic. I do it for self-gain. I'm generous to a point. I mean, I am sharing my story with you, and I hope you learn from it. But I'm learning a lot out of having an audience as well. So yeah, we need to collaborate. Why am I collaborating with you tonight? Because I want you to come to my future restaurants. I want you to know who I am. It's give and take. So, you know, I'm just being entirely honest and open here.
And so the business before, when you decided not to have a CEO and you want to be the CEO, you know, I've read whether or not what we read in, say, you know, Harvard Business Review and all that, is that, you know, in a business you have a CEO, maybe you're good at something but you're not good at CEOing, to bring in a CMO or you know, like somebody to actually partner with you on this kind of...
Yeah, eventually that was the plan. I just unfortunately fell over before that happened.
And up now, on this road now, and the next venture that you're doing, what's your...
Well, for now it's very, very difficult to be what I was because the world has moved very, very fast. The world is not what it was before, and it happens really fast, right? Because now everyone's doing home deliveries. Now everyone's online. So what am I creating right now? I have to create something that no one's invented before. So I have got something in my head that I hope will disrupt the industry, but disrupting the industry is very difficult these days. You can only really, in this day and age, especially when it comes to food, because it's an immediate product, it's not like an online thing, it's not like an intellectual thought that you can sell around the world. So if my income is, I want to give you some food, it really is like 3 kilometres within my immediate radius. So what have I created in my head that can give you nutrition at an affordable price without having to give these mafia people their 30%, which is my entire profit margin. Like, you know, like, it's not sustainable if you use Deliveroo all the time as a business. And restaurateurs and takeaway people in Sydney, or anyone anywhere around the world, because it's so new right now, they will soon realise, oh, it's almost a zero-sum game. It got my brand out there. People now know where my restaurant is. I hope that when they deliver, they get my food on Deliveroo and Foodora and Uber Eats, that they now see that there's this restaurant called this, because they never would have known it otherwise. But I hope they come into my restaurant so that I can retain my 30% profit margin. Because really, you know, like eventually you're going to start to realise, what did I do it all for? I gave it all to the third-party delivery people for the sake of trying to get my brand out there. So they go, I know, I'll increase the prices. Have you noticed how food is now really, really expensive? Because everyone is trying to cover their 30% profit margin to give to this third party, right? And then all of a sudden everyone's talking about how Sydney's the most expensive place in the whole world to eat, because everyone's paying the rent to Foodora and Uber Eats and the third parties. And it just perpetuates itself. It's disgusting. Yeah, of course, the cost of labour is high, but then we've got all these things that are just not working for Sydney. Why are we such an empty city? Because we've been disrupted by these third-party machines. Cost of labour is so high, everyone's like, it's, you know, like what's happening right now, everyone's in Europe partying because it's cheaper. Because there's such a thing as, I know, thepilot.com, and you can get cheap flights there anywhere around the world at a wholesale rate, and everyone's on it. Everyone I know is on, I know, thepilot.com. You can travel very, very, very cheaply.
So where to from here? I mean, you've got your next venture with Charlie Boy. Tell us about that.
So I've opened up a beautiful new restaurant called Charlie Boy, and if you go to Instagram, you can look it up and hopefully join it so I can get some more fans. But you'll see all the pictures that I've put up, and therefore, in a nutshell, that's the fastest way of explaining what the restaurant is. It's modern yumcha, sustainable, gluten-free. It's in Bondi Junction above the East Leeds Club. In a few months' time, I'll be launching a Vietnamese restaurant in Potts Point. Currently, I'm working on launching Lady Chu, which is Vietnamese fast food, and that will be, if you go to Yorda, there's a thing called yorda.com.au. It's for corporates, banks, so you can order Lady Chu as of Thursday this week. So all this Vietnamese food, and then I'll have my website called Lady Chu it'll launch next Monday. So that's basically the reincarnation of Misschu.
and still going on it alone?
Lady Chu, yes. I have investors behind Charlie Boy and Coco Sheen, which is my Vietnamese brand. But Lady Chu, my fast food brand, is me entirely.
Have you heard the saying, no man or woman is an island?
No, what does it mean?
It's basically we can't do things our own.
No, of course not. I have a massive team behind me, like big time. Of course, that's why I get up, because, I could have taken a full-time job. It's really irresponsible for me to do that. For the person that I am, I should take and risk and employ more people and set up systems that most people wouldn't dare take a risk in doing, like modern yumcha restaurant, open 7 days a week, yumcha into the night. Like, most people wouldn't do that, it's too risky. Like, what if it doesn't work? We go, well, if it doesn't work, shut it down. Just do lunchtime. Change the model. Just do catering, whatever, Modern Vietnamese restaurant with an incredibly modern interior architecture. You can't reinvent Vietnamese food, that's just sacred ground. So I'm not reinventing Vietnamese food, but I am reinventing what a Vietnamese restaurant should look like.
Okay, I'm sure there are questions from the floor. I'll thank you very much, Nahji, for opening up and sharing. That's a very...
Yeah, I'm giving you, I'm pouring out my heart here.
Yeah, so you better ask questions.
And it's only because I want you to learn, really. Yes.
Growing at such a rate, and coming from, I guess you had the banking experience, but how did you manage your finances, and what were the challenges in that way?
Yeah, so I thought that I was doing my job properly by going to an accountant and asking him to look after all of my financial affairs. And so usually I go to my accountant and I say, have I paid my taxes? And he goes, yes. Did I make a profit? And he goes, yes. Does that mean I can borrow money? And he goes, yes. Right? 3 classic questions from an entrepreneur. No. He also said, your business is growing too fast and it's too big now and you need to get someone bigger, because I don't know how, I'll help you to a certain point, but you need an accountant that's bigger, okay? And I said, okay, I'm in the process of doing that, but in the meantime, can you just do the overlay bit, like do the handover bit? So whilst I was doing the handover, that's when I had all these problems, and he said, so you've got superannuation to pay. I'm like, isn't that covered? So I had a bookkeeper working with me full time, Liliana. Have you paid all the super? Yes. There's a lot more to pay. We've got to deal with the ATO. We're paying it off. So I don't know all the ins and outs of, the innards of accounting. I just say to my employees, have I paid my taxes? Have I, legally covered myself? But unfortunately, when I fell over, there was $283,000 worth of super that wasn't paid, and the ATO holds you responsible for that, a personal guarantee. So if you are in business and you go into voluntary administration and you instruct an insolvency company to take over your company, and then they appoint an administrator, and then hopefully your business gets sold, or it either gets liquidated and it disappears forever, or it gets sold as an ongoing concern to someone like that.
A lot of lessons learned from the collapse of your business. I'm more interested in your resilience now. At one stage you were a very public figure, and it was a very public downfall as well. And it would have been quite tough on the ego. If it was me, I wouldn't have left the house for a period of time. Like, I would have been too ashamed. But you're back at it. And how much do you attribute to your growing up as a refugee and all those hardships to doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, so you've cut to the core of what it is to be a human being with that question. It was really public. And I needed to get out of bed because I needed to represent my people, the Vietnamese refugees in this country. I needed to represent my staff and be brave and get back up immediately. Of course I curled into a ball. But I also knew it was going to be harder if I didn't get out of bed. Because the one day you don't get out of bed becomes another day you don't get out of bed. And another day you don't get out of bed. And you become a depressant. And because you see, the thing is, I've already been a depressant. I come from a refugee background, I've gone through the war. So I've already been through that. And I fight that every day. So Misschu was my distraction. It saved me from depression and that thing they call the black dog. So I knew that in order to fight depression, you keep busy. And for me, that's why Misschu was so successful, because I kept myself busy. I told my story through the brand and I represented. And when I fell over, it viraled because no one understood why. Why would such a successful business fall over? There's something more to it than that. And I said, exactly right. It was my fault, but I also had been had. I was young, naive, greedy, whatever, everything. People were like egotistic, spent too much money, bought a boat, went overseas. Yeah, all of those things. All of those things. But I mean, yeah, you know, I also deserved a little bit of luxury. I've worked so hard. So why did I get out of bed? I didn't want people to look at the Vietnamese culture and say, oh, you know, see, they're just no good. Those refugees, we don't need them. That's why I got out of bed and went, no, you do need us. We work very hard. And just because I fell over does not make me a bad person. That's the main reason why I got back out. And the main reason why I'm back out again as an entrepreneur. It's really important for me to represent. Because I'm not Anglo-Saxon in this country. And unfortunately, we're still fighting the good fight, you know? Like, it's unfortunate, but here we are, 2017, and we're still fighting for gay rights. We're still fighting to have correct representation as Australians in Asian yellow skin. Come on, guys. That's why I got up.
It's been very interesting listening to what you're saying. Do you think, if you had your time again, that you would, if I was saying good reading between the lines, you'd obviously relied on a lot of people, and I'll let you down. All the things that you're saying about yourself, I hear, and I think everyone's saying you've got a great brand. Forget the fact that it may be gone. At the end of the day, I see you coming back. I think everyone here would say you'll be back, because it takes a lot of courage for you to come out and do the same what you're saying. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I have to come back.
Any questions? Any more questions?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you. I think your words have been awesome tonight. I've learned a lot. Well, my kind of question is, I see that kind of identity, and I feel that too, in the sense that you had this vision and something you believe in so strongly. I think that's so beautiful. And I find often, like, if you have something you believe in so strongly and you want to make that into what you see, when do you ask for help and how? In terms of, I know, like in terms of what you're doing now, you've had to kind of have some people in the background. And how do you involve those people without losing your vision of what you believe in so strongly?
Yeah, so, I mean, quite often I've thought, you know, do a possible project and raise some funds, and then I go, no, that's going to be a backlash, because most people think of me as successful with money. I actually live hand to mouth, still. I don't want to borrow money, and every time I ask someone for help, I have to pay them. You know, like, that's just me. Like, will you do my graphics? I have to pay you. I'm very, very bad at asking for someone for help for free. I'm hopeless at it, because I feel really guilty. I don't mind giving something to people like this here tonight, or, you know, offering food, whatever, because it actually does make me feel really good to give. But when I asking for help is, I always think that there has to be a fair exchange of, goods, services. So when do you ask for help? Like right now, launching Nahji Chu, for example. I go to my friends and I say, "Will you do this for me?" and I pay them. I don't know. I'm asking for help right now by telling you, like, there's a new brand coming out called Nahji Chu. Tell everyone. And buy it. Just, buy it so that I have an income to grow it. I don't know, like, that question is so organic. You know when to ask for help. It's different for everyone. So for me, I can only ask that question by answering it with a trust your instincts, because your business model is very different to everyone else's. So when you know you need to ask for help, don't be ashamed of asking for help. And but also in this day and age, there's a sense of entitlement and everyone should help me. I have a new business. It's your like even refugees who come in right now. You should help me because I'm a refugee. It's like, no, you've got to help yourself. You got to help yourself. You're homeless because it's your decision to be homeless, believe it or not. You're responsible for being homeless. I'm responsible for my failure. There's no one else that I can blame. And when I can't pay my rent, that's my fault. I always look at it like that. You've got to just get back out there and help yourself, and then someone will help you.
This was just more of a selfish question about the reopening of Charlie Boy.
Yeah.
When is that's near where I live, and I'm always looking for Yum Cha.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not Yum Cha hours.
Yeah.
When is that exactly?
So it opened 5 weeks ago. It's had an enormous amount of media. So if you just Google Charlie Boy, CHALIBOI, massive reviews, great reviews, 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. and it's trolley service all day long, all night long. It's above the East Leeds Club in Bondi Junction. Yeah. Yes. Shameless self-promotion there.
We've been there. So Charlie Boy, is that Charlie and Boy? You come up with some of the greatest amazing.
It was going to be called Chinoise, and I went to a graphic agency to start branding me up, and they said, so we don't believe in the name Chinoise, it sounds too 80s. We don't think it's going to make money. And I went, oh, that's interesting. So let me put it on my Facebook feed and ask my friends what they think. So I said, okay guys, I'm opening a new Chinese restaurant. It's going to be, I'm taking over a Yum Cha house, I'm going to reinterpret it to be a modern Yum Cha. So what do you think, Chinoise or Charlie Boy? And 99% of my friends went, big time Charlie Boy.
Yeah, I voted for that too, Charlie Boy, I remember. Look, are there any more questions? Oh, 2 more, okay.
There's this restaurant in Hong Kong called Holy Fook. Does anyone know it? Yeah, isn't it great? I love it. I love Hong Kong. It's one of my favourite cities in the whole world.
Thank you for the talk again. Just a quick one. So when you opened Misschu, like you said, you did letterbox drops and things like that. So did you actually cater for a specific audience, or was it like Darlinghurst, anyone in that 1 kilometre radius?
Yeah, anyone within a 3 kilometre radius of all the stores I opened.
Okay,
yeah.
So for someone, let's say hypothetically, bringing in a cuisine that's not common in Australia, how would you, I'm pretty sure...
Yeah, very difficult. Good question. So for example, Ethiopian food, for example?
Yeah, or Jamaican or anything.
Jamaican, yeah. Jamaican's probably a bit more friendly, but something really, really difficult. Let's say Ethiopian.
Yeah.
Is that like a food that no one would touch? So how do you promote and how do you brand Ethiopian food? Okay, so Ethiopians eat with their hands.
Yeah.
And then you basically, so your marketing has to be really punchy and on point and opposite to what you would think it would be. So I would market the Ethiopian restaurant by saying, I'd touch it. You know, because you eat with your hands, right? And so that's what you promote. You basically own it. You go, come and touch it. Don't touch this. So touch points, yeah, something like that. And basically, you like just celebrate the fact that you eat with your hands. It's the only place in Sydney where you can go to where you don't need cutlery. The ultimate sustainability.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for your talk tonight. My question is, I mean, you mentioned that you bought a boat, you went on holidays,
Yeah.
and you kind of weren't sure about that, but I actually think it's a great positive thing to see you being able to open such a successful business at that time anyway, but still having the time out that you deserve.
Yeah.
So my question is, how do you balance work-life?
There's a thing on my hand, it's called a simian line. It's a straight line that joins the head and the heart line. So for me, it's really natural for me to be work and life are one. Not everyone's born that way, but luckily I wasn't born with two simian lines, because usually if you're born with two simian lines, you're likely to be Down syndrome. Yeah. But if you only have it on one line, then it's a freak and it's good. Like Hillary Clinton has it, not that it's a good thing, but Robert De Niro has it. That's a good thing. Other famous people who've had it, Leonardo da Vinci had it. So I've been studying the simian line because I have one. So how do you separate work and life? Again, it's who you are. For me, it comes naturally. I loved being Misschu because I got out of bed to be myself. I fed myself. I fed the community. I love my food. I designed a business centred around my needs, and I shared it with everyone. You know, my thing was, I'm going to give you amazing Vietnamese food, and within 30 minutes at an affordable price. So, what would I do differently? That's probably why I didn't go and get a full-time job, because I want to be able to live my life as me. I just want to be me and get paid for it, or just have an income out of being me, you know, somehow. I think that's the greatest goal in life, is to just be able to live being yourself. Like, to have a job that you love, that you get out of bed and you do it. That's what I do, you know, like Jack. Brad. Like, you know, how awesome is it to like get out of bed being you, because you have the space. You know, like the sense of fulfillment and satisfaction is awesome. When your model works, it's awesome. So if you have a business model, yeah, take a leap. Jump off the edge and do it. Because you won't know unless you do it. Don't be afraid. If you fall over, yeah, okay, you're going to get a scratch, but you know, the scratch will heal. People will laugh at you like they did me. So what? I mean, I just go, well, what did you do with your life? You know, has anyone ever laughed at you? At least I got laughed at.
Thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Di. Thanks for listening.
I think you all agree that it was a very moving, very authentic, and very raw conversation, and I'm really grateful for that, and to having this forum. And of course, I'd like to especially thank also Brad, the team here at Haymarket HQ, for actually hosting this event, and to have, you know, these kind of stories being shared more on a regular basis, so that wider Australia actually understand the contribution that migrants and refugees make to this society is very, very crucial and important. And I'm very, you know, grateful for your support, and very grateful now for you coming today. Very, very, thank you very much for your time.